Hey, what is up everyone? Welcome back to another Master Grade review, and today we're taking a look at the Crossbone Gundam X0, and this is a premium Bandai kit, so what that means is this video right here would not be possible without those absolutely fantastic people over at Bai. So if you're looking to get some rare gunpla, premium Bandai, Gundam base exclusives, etc., then look no further than that Bai link down there in the description. I've also included the link to where I got this X0 right here, but anyway, on to the review. So anyway, that right there is what we get once we snap this together right out of the box. And this is pretty much straight built besides that little bit of pan lining I did on the Jolly Roger on its chest and forehead. I just had to bring out the awesome detail in those. I love that. So cool. So in keeping up with the way that I've been doing reviews lately, I was going to do the 5 things I love about this kit and the 5 things I don't particularly love about this kit. But the problem with that is I would be hard pressed to come up with 5 things I like about this kit, sadly. So it's going to be more like 2 to 3 things that I like about it and 5 things that I do not like about it. But anyway, here we go. As for the first thing I love about this kit, and it's pretty obvious, this looks awesome. The Crossbone is such an absolutely awesome design. Well, besides one aspect, which will be number 1 of the things I don't like. The second thing I absolutely adore about this, and this is the most obvious thing, it's that pirate iconography. Just look at that. Skull and crossbones on the chest, skull and crossbones on the head, technically a crossbones on the back there with the big old booster stuff, but I guess I'm kind of stretching out the fact that that's kind of number 1 again, isn't it? And kind of also stretching out number 1, I guess the aspect that I like about this the most is its looks. I love the silver. Sure, there is a lot of rippling in that silver plastic, so this is metallic injection silver plastic. This is not a paint of any kind. Same goes with that killer metallic crimson on there that also has ripples on it because there is some kind of metallic whatever injected into the plastic to give it that look. Once again, not paint. But on the whole, I absolutely think this really does work. It looks so damn cool. That silver, killer red, all awesome. But this thing is not without its aesthetic downfalls. So that means on to the 5 things I do not like about this kit, and some of them are pretty obvious. Number 1 is, it's friggin' tiny. There is a standard size Gundam about as small as mobile suits really come, originally in the Universal Century. That, of course, is the Granddaddy 3.0, and it makes this thing look tiny. Because it is. I mean, seriously, there's the high-grade narrative, and there is the high-grade silver bullet, and this thing's smaller than a high-grade. Sure, it is a big high-grade, but still too small. I mean, seriously, who decided to do this? This making mobile suits smaller in the Universal Century was a terrible, terrible idea. I really don't agree with it whatsoever. I mean, like, yes! 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 Yeah! What the hell were they thinking? And seriously, don't even try to start with the technology gets smaller as it advances argument. I am not listening. No way. Too small. As for the number 2 thing I don't like about this kit, there is the box, there is the kit, and you're probably seeing a whole lot more yellow on here that you're not seeing here. Like right there on the shoulder. Okay. How about those beam sabers in its traps? I'm seeing a bit of a pattern here. Up here on those boosters? No. How about those knees though? Oh, wait. They're the right color, so not too bad. But don't you worry, Bandai has you covered with all these yellow stickers right here that if you wanted, you could stick them all on. And as to those white ones, they're for up here on the top of the antenna. So they should be white on top, but they're not. And honestly, I think the red looks better than sticking stickers on there. It's gonna stay that way. As for the third thing I don't like about this kit, this is the single cheapest feeling Gundam I have ever built. And I mean ever. It feels awful. Look at these wiggly legs. I suppose it doesn't really translate how weak these are in video, but I'm telling you, these feel awful. The kind of metallic plastic is super light as well, so all in all, it just feels really, really bad. It does hold its poses for the most part, but it just is the least premium feeling kit I have ever touched. Disappointing. Disappointing. Remember how the real grade Crossbone came with that cool mantle? Well, with this kit, we get this. Look at that. It's all creased up out of the box. It's a weird metallic, plasticky feeling material. And the worst part is, the most technological... Wait a minute, it kind of looks like a funny mask. But anyway, the most technological aspect about this is, this kit includes, and I shit you not, 1 inch of double-sided sticky tape. Double-sided sticky tape for using with this. I'll show you later. And the last thing I hate about this kit, and that is the nubs. Like I mentioned already, this is a metallic injection kit, so that does mean the metallic bits kind of pool in the plastic, but where they don't pool is where it's injected in. Look at those. Big, massive, dark nubs all over the place, and there is nothing you can do about these. You cannot sand these away. There are no precautionary measures you can take to rectify this, so you can't snip like 2mm away and sand it down. You still end up with these little kind of bumps. They just look awful, and the best thing you can do is paint it, and at that point, what's the point in even getting this kit then? You could just paint one of the normal ones. It doesn't make any sense. But anyway, even with all the belly aching aside, I do love this design and can't wait for it to be a real grade. So now moving on to the accessories, and there's one thing you can't say about this kit, and that's that it doesn't come with a lot of accessories, because it does. Look at all of that. I mean, seriously, that is absolute madness. If you like pink plastic, like this right here, then hey, this right here is a kit for you, but look at all of that. First off, in here we get a sheet of Katoki style water slide transfers, so these are all just kind of little warning labels, little markings, stuff like that. Nothing too exciting, but they look classy, they look cool. Next up in here then we've got a transformable core fighter, pretty rad. And then just working through these in order, we've got the buster gun, a wire, we've got a pair of chains, I'm just showing the one right here. We also have a pair of beam sabers, a pair of straight up knives, the hilariously named beam zamber. We've only got the one of these, it's just a big space cutlass. We've got two of these punching effect parts, two of these big old butterfly busters, this crazy looking weapon called a kujaku, and finally back there then we've got the ABC mantle with the awesome double-sided sticky tape. I almost forgot to mention we also do have a pilot figure, and this really shows the kit's age because you can see he does not have that little standing base segment. He's just standing there on his 2 feet. I'm surprised he can hold up. Not very well though. So first up in here we've got the core fighter. This is pretty cool. I love these core fighters. Probably the best aspect about these mobile suits in my opinion. Anyway, if you want to transform this, it can be a bit on the awkward side. It's a bit on the resilient side. So you drop this section down, push it in. Usually the beam sabers are stored up here, but I have them taken out to show the beam sabers. Fold this little segment down. It is also worth noting that we do have an opening cockpit here with a gray little pilot figure in there. Close that up, and that then attaches into the back of the bot like so. Of course, this jettisons like an escape pod when things go south, but anyway, pop those out, and there is that crossbone looking backpack. As for the beam sabers in here, they're pretty generic, just a standard beam in that hot pink. And while I'm talking about those, I might as well mention the hands. These are without a single doubt the worst master grade hands that have ever existed. So that's the 3 fingers like so, 1 finger like that, and the separated thumb like so. So these are always curved like this. So no matter what kind of pose you put it in, it always looks, well, honestly, it looks shite. There's no better word for it. Absolute shite. When these are not in use, just pop out the beam like so, and these then slot up here all the way through like so. Next up then in here, we've got these punching effect parts. These attach into those parts that swing forward from the back of the arm. So these just look like so, and when you're not using them, you can just flip this whole segment back, but it is quite inclined to pull off this little section of the arm. It could be a little bit better. So next up, we've got the pair of butterfly busters, and these are awesome weapons. The beam effects could look a little bit better. Like, I mean, on the vigorous scale from 1 to 10, this is just a 1. Look how kind of flat and boring that is. It isn't even pointy. But either way, these are an awesome concept of a weapon because these aren't just these big beam swords. On popping out the beam effect, flipping this up like so, closing it up, bringing down the handle like this, it's also a tiny little double-barreled shotgun. How cool is that? Sure, it does look a little bit on the plain side. We've got this peg here for storage, but it's just such an awesome idea for a weapon. A little double-barreled shotgun that flips open to be an absolutely gigantic beam sword. And it's not just 1, it's 2. Absolutely awesome. So up next is the beam zamber and the buster gun, and what is a pirate without its cutlass? This is pretty cool. Of course, just as usual, these can combine. And by the way, these aren't necessarily from the X3, and the instructions kind of makes that obvious by saying, feel free to assemble the buster gun and beam zamber. Like, no pressure, man. Feel free to do it if you don't have to. Feel free. Strange. Anyway, as for the Zambuster, off with that beam effect. This little section up here should fold up, rotate, fold back down. The handle of this then comes down, this comes up, and they should attach. And that is the Zambuster. And also all of these just have this kind of circular peg here for attaching them onto the side skirt, like so. Next up then in here, we've got a good old pair of generic stabbing knives. When these aren't in use, you can pull off the blade like so, and then these can be stored in the back of the leg, just like so. We also have the option of sticking these into the bottom of the feet like this for a good old knife stabby kick. So next up then we've got this big old monstrosity known as the Kujaku. And this is so big and heavy that he has a bit of trouble holding onto it, as you can see there. This thing is not so looking. This is crazy. So we can pop off these beam effects, which are some of the most interesting beam effects I've ever seen. This can then flip like so, open out in this absolutely awesome way, slot in like this, and then you can stick it into his hand this way. I'm not going to bother, honestly. And you've got yourself a kind of beam crossbow. Pretty cool. This right here is also known as Smasher Mode. Also, it's got a peg on here, so that can also be stored on the side skirts. Probably. Next up then in here, we've got 2 chains. At this point, I will mention that these front skirting armors come off with next to no touch whatsoever. But anyway, this is for using with these. Pop that in like this. Pop that in like so. Then we can fold out these segments here. And we've got ourselves a pretty rockin' little grapple hook. That is cool. And the last thing in here, and what I've been really looking forward to using, and no, it's not that. It is the inch of double-sided sticky tape. I've been holding out for this right here. So first off in here, the instructions tells you to cut the crap out of this bottom section here to give it that realistic tattered look. I started, as you saw here, and I realized it would take me forever and I couldn't be arsed. So I just did there. This kind of nylon or whatever it is quite hard to cut, actually. So that's why I gave up at that point. Even with the God hand, I was like, I'm just going to break my nippers. I'm not doing this. Try the scissors too. It's just a bit awkward. Actually, I'm going to admit I totally lied just there. I never tried the scissors, and the scissors works out fine, but this will take a while, and hopefully you'll do a little better than that. Remember how awesome the real grade was? So do I. Okay, so now this part is ridiculous. I was wondering what this little wire was for, but apparently we need to use this tiny little ruler right here to cut the wire to size. Why they didn't give you a wire that was the right size, I don't know. I don't have a nippers handy, so I guess it's gonna have to be that scissors. Snipe! So now finally we get that sticky tape and open it out like so. Stick it on here. Beautiful. Then we have to try and get the top layer off. Seriously, I absolutely despise double-sided sticky tape. Oh, there we go. Okay, now that we've got that done, the next step is you put the wire in the double-sided sticky tape, and then you have to roll this up. This is so dumb. Ugh. What is this? Okay, roll, 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 roll. Come on. Come on. Why is this so hard? Oh, that's better. There we go. Now it's shapeable. Look at that. Not awesome. Not awesome at all. Seriously, now it looks even more like a mask. Hold on. I've got an idea.
Spooky. Spooky, you want to be a superhero?
Yeah, Spooky.
Spooky, you cool superhero, huh? You cool? No? Good boy.
But anyway, to attach this, we need to drop down the pack like so. Get that out of the way. These white segments on the shoulder should pop up like this. Seems like we also have more clips on the chest. Oh, these are small. So I won't lie, putting this thing on is a massive pain in the butt. And there's a lot of tucking and clipping involved with those white clip bits. And they don't hold very well. And in the end, all you get is this right here. Look at this. Look at the way it cocks out of the back. What is this shit? Oh man, look at that. Look, it looks like one of those guys that was fished out of the sea that they put in the big aluminium like blankets so they don't catch hypothermia. Okay, from the front it's okay, but from the back, look at that. Look at that point. Stop. This thing is bad. Check this out. So there's this is what you get out of the box, and then there's that right there, and the cloak used in the images has been modified to recreate creases. So maybe if you like bunch it up or iron it or something, it won't look like this. But seriously, whew, that thing's lame. Let's see if I can modify this thing to have creases. Oh no, it's after disconnecting on me. Okay. Ugh. So now onto the articulation, and as usual, from that head down. So up here we do have that giggity, but this is one loose neck. There it is all the way down, all the way up, all the way around, and this is so loose and crappy feeling. There it is, side to side, not great. The mouth section in there can open up. I'm gonna need to get something to jimmy it open. And kapow! That's what it looks like right there. Pretty cool. The shoulder can move forward at that point. We get a little bit more up and down once that is out. As for the up, there it is. pull it out, you do get a little bit more. The shoulder armor is independent there. We've got that full rotation at the upper arm. There is the bend at the elbow, so pretty good. The wrist joint is a ball joint, as well as this giving us a bit of flexion like so. Almost forgot these shoulders can tilt downwards like this. Got some more nice red inside there. We do have that opening cockpit, so there's one, and then you can see into the clear cockpit of the core fighter. Close that up. We've got that typical old school Gundam paralyzed waist. So there's nothing really in the waist besides a ball joint down a little bit further. So that's the ab crunch forward. There it is to the back, side to side, and as for rotation, it's there to there, and that is all you're getting. Moving down to the skirting, that can fall off really easily, but besides that, it can move up, but more than likely off. I'm not messing with that anymore. This one can barely move whatsoever side to side like that. That's about it. Round on the old butt flap, we've got a double, not so premium butt flap. Not really getting a whole lot out of that again. Very, very basic movement. Can move outwards like so. It's a basic hip joint here, so there is no rocking back and forward mechanism. This armor always separates. Not awesome. Even though the hips on this are fine because of the skirting armor, that does get in the way quite a bit. Look, that's gone again. But anyway, that is the kick all the way up to the front. As for all the way out to the back, you get about this. These don't really move these side skirts. So as for the splits, it kind of gets stuck there. As you can see, this really bad design separating the armor. There is that full spin kick. Next up here, we've got that bend at the knee, and that is pretty good. Pretty good, not bad. At the ankle, this armor can move up and down. These rear sections can swing up and down as well. As for the foot, there it is all the way to the front, all the way to the back. There is that side to side pivot, a bit on the weak side. And as for the toes, they can bend up, but that does not look cool. Normal foot and, elongated banana foot. All in all, the articulation on this guy is pretty bad. The build is flimsy, and all in all, this is about as bad as a master grade gets. Not great. So that right there is it for the review, and all I can say is, in most aspects, this does drop the ball. It is a bit of a flop of a kit. So that does mean, of course, this is bronze tier. And at the same time, bronze tier does not necessarily mean that this is as bad as something could be. It could be a whole lot worse. There is brown tier as well below that, but this isn't quite that low. The best aspects about this, I have to say, is that cool look. The Crossbone Gundam is one awesome looking Gundam, and this color variation makes it even more badass. I do like the silver. Even though it has rippled quite a bit, it catches the light very nicely. The ripples are a bit of a visual downside, but all in all, its looks are its strongest aspect, even though it's missing a lot of the color accuracy it should have in the yellows as well as the whites on the top of the V-fin and some around the wrist as well. Build-wise, this is about as floppy as a Gundam can get. It doesn't feel good, it feels brittle, it's light, it's not awesome. The articulation is not great, it's very old school. Basically, it just suffers from a whole load of old school Gundam issues. One of the other awesome aspects about this though is it does come with a lot of accessories. They look cool, a lot of cool beam effects, and there's a lot of fun weapons. And basically the final word, I think, when it comes to this kit is, wait for the real grade version. The real grade Crossbone is the bomb. This right here, on the other hand, is a bomb, as in a hand grenade, and probably will fall apart on you. But anyway, if you do want one of your own, because it does look cool, there is a link down there in the description. You can get yours from Bai. As always, don't forget to click that like button. It does help out the channel quite a bit. Make sure to come back for more gunpla reviews, and I'll see you next time.